For about 2 years, unsuspecting and gullible farmers have bought and used a product being marketed as subsidized organic fertilizer.
I believed that it was organic because I've never seen organic fertilizer that is packed.
But little did they know what it actually is.
Lakini ukweli ni kwamba inachimbwa chini pale Kariandusi.
Or its impact on their crop.
Pali nilipanda nayo ilimea tu, haikuwa hata kumea. Lakini ilikuwa yellow. Na iko tu hapo, haikui.
In this documentary, Africa Uncensored exposes what appears to be a grand scheme to reap from the fertilizer subsidy program.
Na pengine mkisafirisha barabarani, mkwa mnasimamishwa na polisi?
Tulikuwa tunawaambia tumetumwa na serikali. Hakuna venye wangetusimamisha.
Oh, unasema umetumwa na serikali?
We have whistleblower accounts, scientific tests and documentation that leads right to the door of what may be the creators of possibly one of the country's most sinister plans to compromise Kenya's food security.
Destination was NCPB. All of them, NCPB was the destination.
"2022 was a tough year for farmers in Kenya. A prolonged drought and delayed rains threatened the very basket from which the nation feeds. Then came a biting fertilizer crisis that caused panic among farmers and other stakeholders in the agriculture sector. Days of even deeper hunger were looming.
When people wanted to plant, the fertilizer had not yet arrived. But when they arrived, hazikuwa enough. Sasa farmers scrambled for them. It was around May.
Sasa ilibidi niingie kwa mfuko, niingie kwa loans, nikachukua loan, kanunua mbolea na mbegu. Lakini vile nilipanda, nikapata faida kidogo.
The shortage also experienced in other parts of the world was mainly attributed to the Russia-Ukraine war, which affected supply of the commodity.
And we are not saying there is no problem. There is a problem. We need to address it together. You need to provide us the money to subsidize fertilizer. That's the bottom line.
It was imperative that action was taken immediately to address the issue at hand. And so began a series of subsidy programs aimed at reducing the cost of fertilizer in the country.
And my administration announced a 5 billion fertilizer subsidy program, which has reduced the cost of fertilizer from Kenya shillings 6,000 to an average of Kenya shillings 2,800.
It was good news to us because it was announced that now we'll get fertilizers from a nearby store at a cheaper price. But practically, many farmers could not access the fertilizers because they were few.
While this brought relief to farmers, it also set the stage for a clandestine deal between government and some so-called investors that would cost the same farmers it sought to cushion.
Now, as subsidized fertilizers continue to be distributed to National Cereals and Produce Board depots across the country, farmers have been cautioned against purchasing fake consignments of the agricultural input. Agriculture experts warn that with the subsidy program, counterfeit products will increasingly find their way into the market.
Niliitwa niende mizigo pale Kariandusi, pale kwa factory ya diatomite.
Kariandusi, a sleepy settlement located in Nakuru County, about 120 kilometers from Nairobi and about 7.5 kilometers from Gilgil town. Also a famous prehistoric site, one of the main economic activities here is the mining of diatomite. But in this blue structure, tucked safely between bushland and grassland, something else is cooking, and this man, whom we will call Bob, can no longer keep silent.
Ile conscience yangu inaniambia si vizuri kufanya biashara kama hii, lakini ni vizuri nilifanya ndio niambie ulimwengu kwamba kuna biashara inafanywa ambayo si halali.
When Bob received a call about a transport job available at this facility in Kariandusi, he accepted it without question.
Niliitiwa tu kazi na rafiki yangu kwamba kuna kazi imetokea, kama niko available na lori zangu ziende zipakie mzigo nizipeleke. Nikienda sikuambiwa ni nini. Niliambiwa tu ni mzigo na nitapewa maagizo. Na nilipoangalia ilikuwa ni mbolea. Nikapakiwa na lori zangu zikawa tayari kwenda.
Although Bob thought he had hit the jackpot, he quickly realized that it was a venture he could not bear with a clear conscience.
Ilikuwa inachimbwa kwenye mchanga, pahali tambarare, kichakani. Acha niseme hivyo. Ilikuwa inachimbwa, inawekwa kwenye gunia, inashonwa, kisha inawekwa kwa lori.
Bob's claims seemed stranger than fiction. Could there be people willing to pass soil off as fertilizer for profit in the middle of one of Kenya's worst droughts? To confirm his claims, our crew member went undercover to this facility belonging to African Diatomite Industries Limited, posing as a worker. True to Bob's word, what we got on film was disturbing. The site is a hive of activity. These men are carrying what appears to be bags of earth scooped from this pit. Next to them is a weighing scale and a pile of bags waiting to be picked. Meanwhile, preparation for another batch of product is ongoing at this other corner.
Inakaa kama jivu. Ni mchanga, inachimbwa tu chini, ni kama jivu. Inapitishwa kwa kichungi kama ile mchanga ya kupiga plasta. Alafu inapimwa hapo na mashini iko hapo ya kushona. Na unaambiwa zile magunia utabeba. Ilikuwa very coded. We only dealt with a phone call from Nairobi. Hata wakati umewekewa mafuta, unaenda kwa petrol station, wewe unatuma till number. Within 5 minutes umewekewa mafuta. Within 2 minutes pesa inaingia. Unawekewa mafuta, unaenda.
Bob says he witnessed this secret activity for several weeks, where with about 14 other drivers, he would transport the product packed in 25-kilogram bags and branded as GPC, an all-purpose organic fertilizer suitable for farming.
Tulikuwa tunaingia saa 3 mpaka saa 8, saa 9 hivi. Bado tunapakiwa kwa sababu lori ni nyingi zilikuwa zinapakiwa kwa siku. Zaidi ya lori 10, 15 hivi kwa siku. Na kila lori inabeba tani 10 ama karibu tani 10. Destination was NCPB. All of them NCPB was the destination. Kwa sababu nilikuwa napewa receipt specific ya NCPB.
The government has set aside Kenya shillings 5,734 million to subsidize 114,000 metric tons for farmers growing food crops. The fertilizers will be available at NCPB stores countrywide, effective tomorrow morning.
NCPB, or the National Cereals and Produce Board, was the parastatal charged with the distribution of subsidized fertilizer across the country. That these bags of earth were being taken to the NCPB stores further strengthened claims that they weren't being sold directly to the market but under the subsidy program.
La kustaajabisha ni kwamba hata kwa hizo stores, hao wenye huu mzigo walikuwa na staff wao. Lakini hii product ilikuwa inakuwa controlled na area manager. Analipa na pay bill na area manager akiapprove, anampatia delivery na anaenda. Kwa hivyo ni jambo ilikuwa guarded kabisa.
Some of the counties where Bob recalls the fertilizer was delivered include Bomet, Kisii, Homa Bay, Nandi, Uasin Gishu and Siaya.
Kuna wengine walikuwa wanaenda Murang'a, Embu, sehemu zingine za Ukambani.
His suspicions further buttressed by the special emphasis on this particular product at one of the NCPB stores.
Cha kushangaza ni kwamba kulikuwa na fertilizer zingine, zile tuko na uzoefu nazo, lakini hazikuwa zinapewa priority kwa wenye walikuwa wananunua. Walikuwa wananunua hii gushi ambayo nilikuwa ninaona iko na dosari, ndio ilikuwa inapewa priority.
For over a year, Africa Uncensored has been investigating the circulation of GPC, a product purported to be subsidized organic fertilizer. We followed the distribution trail to confirm our whistleblowers' claims that the product is being sold at NCPB stores across the country. In Meru, we were directed to pay for the product at the cashier's office before collecting it at one of the stores. We specifically chose the package that resembles the ones we captured in our secret filming at Kariandusi, even though the product is now sold in a new package. This choice is crucial in ensuring that we maintain the integrity and authenticity of our findings. We also bought the fertilizer at NCPB stores in Sagana, Kirinyaga County in central Kenya, Tala in eastern Kenya, and Eldoret in Uasin Gishu County in Kenya's Rift Valley. A 25-kilogram bag of the fertilizer goes for 1,700 shillings.
Chukua moja uende ujaribu. Ndio msho utapenda. Unajua kitu organic, unajua haitachoma mimea yako.
Back to the question, is what was being passed off as fertilizer actually organic fertilizer? While on our mission, we dropped some samples at Egerton University's Soil Science Laboratory, where Simon Misoi, the senior lab technician, will conduct an analysis.
Hi, you're welcome to Soil Lab.
Apart from the GPC sample, we presented 2 others from Meru that some farmers suspected to be faulty. However, they were declared genuine by the analysis. We also presented 2 more purchased from privately owned outlets for comparison as directed by the lab.
This one is made in Kenya.
Yes.
It's called GPC.
GPC.
Organic fertilizer.
Okay.
Yes, it's an all-purpose fertilizer.
Yes. Made in Kenya.
Yeah, made in Kenya, yes.
Actually, what we look is the nutrient content of the fertilizers. The normal nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, okay, that are very vital for the plants in the soil. So in essence, that is what we're going to check on all the fertilizers, if actually the contents also will be commensurate with what is on the labels.
Habari njema kwako mkulima. Kampuni ya GPC kwa kushirikiana na National Cereals and Produce Board wanakuletea mbolea isiyo na kemikali ambayo ina madini mengi ya nitrogen na phosphorus. Inaongeza
One of the key selling points of the GPC fertilizer, as is advertised online, is its organic nature, meaning that its nutrients are naturally occurring. This is different from synthetic fertilizers that are chemically formulated to achieve the nutrient balance required for the soil. It is also claimed to be more friendly to the soil and crops. But 2 weeks later, the results are out and they confirm Bob's worst fears. Misoi sheds light on a nutrient analysis conducted on a sample of the GPC fertilizer we bought in Meru.
From the analysis of all the fertilizers, there was something unique about GPC. That in terms of nitrogen, it was very low. P, that is phosphorus, it was low. Potassium, it was not, it was also low. From my expert opinion is that that fertilizer does not measure up to be used for planting.
The results show that nitrogen levels are below 1%, phosphorus 3.99%, and potassium at 1.60%. This is not only lower than the nutrient levels required for planting, but also a stark contrast of what is indicated on the bag, where phosphorus and potassium are claimed to measure 10% and 30% respectively. A second nutrient analysis at a private laboratory in the country reinforces these findings. All the samples we bought from Meru, Tala, Eldoret, Sagana, and another obtained from a farmer in Siaya contain trace elements of the major nutrients required for planting. David Ndegwa is an agronomist and commercial farmer based in Naromoru, Nyeri County.
Phosphorus ni kidogo sana. Let's see the...
According to Ndegwa, the lack of nutrients also disqualifies the idea of cost effectiveness as is being sold by the makers of these products.
You will find that some of the soil analysis are better than this. And you take soil there, it is richer in nutrients than what is here.
Okay.
So if this one is being sold, then I can put my soil in the bag and start selling. If you are a commercial farmer and you want to produce, let's say, from 30 bags of maize, it is most unlikely that you're going to get that from the same quantity of organic manure, because the nutrient level will be very low in organic fertilizer than from inorganic. And that's why it is advisable to use inorganic fertilizer to do commercial farming, and then leave organic fertilizers to do vegetables that are required in kitchen gardens and small quantities, because you need to use a lot, and then it becomes very expensive.
Based on their observation and a manure compost analysis, both Ndegwa and Misoi conclude that GPC is also not an organic fertilizer.
When we talk of organic, it means that that fertilizer is made from either plant or animal waste residue. And therefore, the color is not supposed to be purely white.
Once you have the accredited laboratory results that are different from what is declared in the bag, I think that can be termed as criminal.
With some of Bob's biggest questions answered, let us now focus on the source of the earth being passed off as fertilizer.
Niko na uhakika kwamba ni watu ambao wako na connections hata katika hii serikali ya sasa. Kwa maana kama hawana connections, hawangepata chance ya kusupply fertilizer kwa hii serikali ambayo iko.
According to its website, African Diatomite Industries Limited's main business includes the mining, processing and supply of diatomaceous earth filter aid products. These are used in filtration of fruit juices, edible vegetable oil, alcoholic beverages, sugar refining, corn syrup and resin filtration.
This is where our finished products are being, this is the finishing end of our products.
A YouTube video from a channel purporting to belong to the company explains its core business further.
Here is for filtration of Del Monte juice, and also we have Kensil 110, which is used to filter avocado juice.
Other uses of diatomaceous earth produced in the company include the manufacture of grain preservatives, paint filters and agricultural applications such as soil conditioners, also referred to as soil amendments. The use of diatomaceous earth as a soil conditioner may have been the ruse that was used to pass off this earth as fertilizer. But the key question is whether diatomite is or can be used as a fertilizer. We'll return to this question further in this story. For now, let us focus on the deal that brought this entire scheme about. News about the introduction of GPC organic fertilizer into the market was first published by several digital platforms on diverse dates between March and April 2022. This was at the start of the country's first of two planting seasons and a period in which farmers across the country had expressed fear about the cost of fertilizer. It was also during the last few months of the Uhuru Kenyatta regime. This article describes a partnership between National Cereals and Produce Board (NCPB), 51 Capital through its subsidiary GPC Farm, and African Diatomite Industries Limited to supply affordable fertilizer for a period of 2 years. It was published on 31st March 2022, a day before the then Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture Peter Munya held a press briefing to announce the fertilizer subsidy program.
The government has set aside Kenya shillings 5,734 million to subsidize.
According to the article, the partnership between NCPB, African Diatomite Industries Limited and 51 Capital translated to millions of bags of the GPC fertilizer retailing at NCPB stores countrywide. A company registration search reveals the shareholding of African Diatomite Industries Limited, which includes Secretary Victoria Nthenya Muya, and companies Tradeworld Kenya Limited, Ruby Trust Limited and Sovereign Group Limited listed as directors and shareholders alongside Thomas Wenanga, Kennedy Kipruto Kulei and Joshua Chelelgo Kulei. A former aide of the late retired President Daniel Moi, Joshua Kulei has been adversely mentioned in corruption cases ranging from the Goldenberg scandal, in which the country reportedly lost a sixth of its GDP. He is also linked to a land-grabbing case involving parcels belonging to the Moi International Airport, Mombasa. In 2009, Kulei was accused alongside the then Eldoret North Member of Parliament and Cabinet Minister William Ruto, former MP for Baringo Central Sami Mwaita, and 2 other firms over the illegal sale of a piece of land in Ngong Forest to Kenya Pipeline Company for 272 million shillings in 2001. They were later acquitted of the charges for lack of evidence. And just recently, Kulei and Kennedy Kipruto Kulei were accused before a Nakuru court of allegedly grabbing land worth 600 million shillings in Kabarak, Nakuru County. A similar search for 51 Capital and its subsidiary GPC Farm on the Registrar of Companies portal CR12 proved futile. However, a search through Aleph, a data platform created by the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project OCCRP, reveals that its CEO is Joe Kariuki, a flamboyant but controversial businessman who seems to have a penchant for using online tabloids for publicity. Another search via Wayback Machine shows 51 Capital had a website between January 2021 and April 2022, around the same time the previous government announced the fertilizer subsidy program. The About Us page describes it as an organization keen on empowering the community through a CSR program dubbed Project You and I. It also lists products like PesaCoin, BoomCoin, One Child Coin, and 51 InvestCorp. Its Facebook page, also inactive since 2021, appears to suggest that 51 Capital's core business is cryptocurrency-related projects using PesaCoin as part of its education scholarships and loan plans.
My name is Joe Kariuki from Candy and Candy Records.
Kariuki was also the CEO and founder of Candy and Candy Records, responsible for various artists in Kenya and Tanzania, including the once popular Mr. Nice. He is alleged to have been jailed in Tanzania for 2 years following a case of fraud in 2017.
He's the CEO of the Candy and the Candy Group. Karibu sana Joe.
Asante sana.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic stuff.
In this morning show on K24 TV 3 years ago, Kariuki explains how he bounced back after his incarceration by investing in forex trading. He also mentions his past but unsuccessful ventures in the mining industry.
I met a friend of mine he started teaching me forex trading. So I started running, you know, here and there, you know, about forex, you know, money exchange, buying these, and the money I had, I started trading on forex. You know, after I have learned for a month or so, I started trading and I started making money.
2 years ago, through an online campaign on Twitter using hashtag #PesaCoinCult, Kariuki and his company 51 Capital were accused of running a cult-like cryptocurrency scheme that only recruited CEOs, wealthy businessmen, and politicians. So how did 51 Capital, a company that deals in cryptocurrency, start supplying fertilizer across the country? What is the connection between Joe Kariuki, Joshua Kulei, and the government?
I've never seen somebody. Kariuki, which one is Kariuki? I've never heard this person. We don't deal with any fertilizer at all. That is fictitious stories, which is...
You can see the formula to success, GPC, and we don't have anything else, yeah? And it's original plus. When you say original plus, you mean like anything which is more like a soil booster and all those kind of things.
How did they secure a contract with NCPB to supply fertilizer? How much did they gain from the government subsidy program? And what is the impact of this dubious deal on farmers?
In fact, they nicknamed it that this is chuodo. Kumanisha, it is not taking them anywhere. But those who went ahead and applied it, whatever they harvested was meager harvest. Whom do you complain to?
We attempt to answer these questions in the second part of this story.
Already since tumeuza around 800,000 bags. Now more than like 3,000 farmers.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Gishiri. I'm a reporter and producer at Africa Uncensored. Thank you for watching this video to this point. You are our #1 supporter and we value you. To maintain our independence and be able to bring you more in-depth and balanced pieces, we are asking for your financial support. You can do this by becoming a member on our channel or our patron on Patreon now and support our work. The link is on the screen or in the video description given below. You can also send us your support via M-Pesa directly, either on the screen or below. Thank you.